This is Lewis Ritson and you're watching the Sport Icons.
Now, it's possible that I'm reading more into it, but when Frank Warren said that about the announcement for Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury, why hasn't it happened yet? As in, why haven't you announced the date and the venue yet? Because right after Pianeta, so you're talking, 3 weeks ago now, when Tyson Fury took on Pianeta, Wilder, Tyson Fury, Frank Warren, all in the ring. Frank Warren saying it's on, and when he was asked, okay, when will it be announced in the post-fight press conference afterwards, he said at some point next week. So it's 2 weeks overdue. Now, I'm not surprised because this usually is what happens with Frank Warren anyway. When he says we're going to announce something on this kind of time frame, it very rarely does, to be honest. Okay, and he's saying, look, trust me. When I tell you it's on, it's on. The fighters have told you it's on, and I've told you that it's on, so therefore it's on. Okay, but you did that with Derek Chisora versus Deontay Wilder, didn't you? And you've said that many other fights have been on and didn't happen. So fans are going to ask the question, but even if all that history of things that are on and then they're off didn't happen, fans are still allowed to ask Frank. Now he's saying that, we will tell you when it's on in our time, not in your time. Now, I know that he was pretty much pointing the finger at Eddie Hearn, but Eddie Hearn never said, well, when's it going to be announced? He just said that it hasn't been announced yet. In other words, Wilder has signed a contract to fight Tyson Fury with no date and venue, which was the biggest stumbling block as to why Wilder didn't sign for Anthony Joshua, right? When he agreed all the other terms, no date and venue. So he refused to sign, and him and his fans and Shirley Finkel and everybody says, who signs a contract with no date and venue? Well, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder do. Okay, when you really want to fight, you sign. So that is another nail in the coffin to say that Team Wilder didn't want the fight. Not necessarily Wilder, but Team Wilder didn't want the fight. So the kind of issue that I have with Frank Warren here is where he's saying, well, we will announce it when we announce it on our time. Well, no, Frank, okay? You cannot tell the fans to shut up and not ask, especially when you say it's going to be announced. So if you say it's going to be announced next week, guess what? We expect an announcement next week, not 3 weeks later and we're still waiting. So clearly there's some kind of issue and he's getting like a little bit ratty about it. But fact are, Frank, you said next week. Had you have said, well, we're not entirely sure, Team Wilder, of course, because they own the rights to this fight, they're talking to venues and trying to work out what the best date is. As soon as we know, you will know. That would have been fine. We'd have left it at that. And if we're still waiting, then we're still waiting. But facts are, you said next week, and not for the first time. So, Frank, we're entitled to ask the question, and you have an obligation to answer that question. If you want money from your BT subscribers to pay pay-per-view and keep fans on board and get fans emotionally invested in this fight, to be excited for it, to look forward to it or whatever, you need to give the fans what they want. If you say there's an announcement next week, give us the announcement next week. If there is no announcement, you should come out off your own back and say, right, there's a bit of a hitch at the minute, we're still waiting. I know I said that it's going to be this week, but it's not going to be this week. As soon as we know, we'll let you know. Not we do it on our time, not when you tell us. That's not how you talk to fans, Frank. As I said, I know he was predominantly pointing at Eddie Hearn, but Eddie Hearn never said, well, when is it going to be, Frank? He never said that. If he did, then I've totally missed it. It's the fans that's been asking, when is it going to be announced? Kugan Cassius was right to ask these questions. And actually, good on Kugan Cassius for actually putting a little bit of pressure on Frank Warren, because in recent years, whenever he's interviewed Frank Warren has gone off on one, and Kugan's just like sat back and just like took it, rather than ask the questions that the fans want to answer or ask. But yesterday, he did actually ask the right questions. So big up Kugan for that one. But Frank, listen, if you're going to tell us that the fight's on, that's fine. But you can't expect us to take your word for it when you've done these kind of things before. That's all it is. If you don't know when it's going to be, say, I don't know, I'm waiting on Team Wilder. I'm really sorry, okay? I thought it was going to be the following week. That's what I was led to believe, but that's not what happened. It's not in my control. I can't help it. I wish to tell you the date and venue, but facts are I don't know right now. But he's not going to do that because what he doesn't want to do is stir any kind of pot with Shirley Finkel. He doesn't want to do that. Whereas Eddie Hearn will be quite open to go, hey Shirley, you told us when it's going to happen. Now tell us, everybody, what's going on. But Frank Warren won't do that because he's very good pals with Shirley Finkel. But anyway, that is what it is. So Frank, if the fans are asking your customers, your punters, then you answer the damn question. You don't get all defensive about it. And this only kind of like, it's not directed at Frank Warren solely, okay? This is directed at all fighters, all promoters, all managers, okay? If you tell us something, then we're going to hold you to it. And you don't tell us to sit down, shut up, be quiet and accept it, because fans don't have to. Fans don't have to watch your shows, Frank. And if fans don't watch your shows, Frank, you don't get paid. Queensberry Promotions will be no more. I don't want that. You don't want that. The fans don't want that. We want to know answers to questions. When is the fight going to happen? When is Warrington versus Frampton going to happen? You already said that it's going to be next week. Possibly Monday. Well, let's see, shall we? Let's see. But anyway, Frank, answer the damn questions, man. It's not complicated. We're not saying it's your fault because we know that it's not you in control of that. Just don't get all defensive about it. And don't promise something that you can't deliver. In future, Frank, if you're asked about when something will be announced, just say, in due course. As soon as I know for sure, you will know for sure. Not just, well, when the two fighters are sat there at the press conference, you'll know. Well, that's not good enough. We want to know when it is, Frank. Simple as that. Drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all on the next video.